Hi everybody, it's Christine and I'm back. And how dare YouTube interrupt us so abruptly on Sunday. And I do want to apologize to everybody who was watching. We did have a YouTube glitch again. It was not at my end. YouTube actually froze up on me, and it was close enough to the time that May was to do live that I went ahead and stayed off. So I did not get to a lot of the things that I said that we were going to do that on Sunday. So I wanted to start with one of the first things is that I did manage to fix my little mouse, and I'll show you how I did that. If you remember, the little girl mouse was looking pretty much of a hot mess, and while she's still got some work to be done, I think that's in focus, she's looking a little better. What I did is I outlined those spots with some white uniball to give them a little more definition. I changed the stripes down her back to a darker color, and so she's not perfect yet. I added another layer to him, but it's coming along, and I'm going to work on this in this video. But one of the things that had happened is that I was tagged by Dev for a YouTuber tag. And so I have taken the liberty of writing down the questions and thinking about my answers. And so here are the questions, and I'm going to answer them out of order because I am. So for me, question number 5 is going to be number 1. And that is, who is the first ColorTuber that I subscribed to? And the first ColorTuber that I subscribed to is Vitruvian Art. And this was a long time ago. Amanda Rose Rambo and I are Facebook friends. And early on, it's hard for me because she goes by Rose Rambo, but I always call her Amanda. So Amanda reached out to me early on and offered me a lot of help in the way of getting my own Facebook fan group started, and she put out the rallying call and found a lot of members for my group, and really steered a lot of new fans my way. And so she was the first one that I subscribed to. And the second one that I subscribed to was Coloring Queen, because Leah at Coloring Queen, or actually Lee at Coloring Queen, was the first person to review one of my books. She reviewed my very first book. Bless her soul, she bought it with her, she doesn't accept people soliciting her for reviews. So she bought it, and she gave it some very positive things, a little bit of a critique. I did take that critique under my hat, and I did, in fact, in the first revision of that first book, made a lot of changes. So to the way that I published, even. And it was so helpful. It was just so helpful. So, and then the third person was, of course, Color with Claire, who still has never reviewed one of my books. And then that was really it for me until Anne came along at A Colorful Life, and then I started subscribing. So how many ColorTubers am I subscribed to? And the answer to that is 147. And I know this because I counted them. Now, I should say that not all of these are ColorTubers. Probably at least 10 channels that I watch on a regular basis are technical tutorial channels about my softwares. So, my OpenShot editor, my OBS broadcast software, which is what I'm recording this on, my I had to restore because I had an aborted attempt when I tried to upload Windows 10 and ended up taking it back to Windows 7. So I've got tutorials that I subscribe to on all that technical computer guru stuff, and those are so helpful. I, in fact, watched a tutorial on a video production that I just did last night, and they were really helpful. The other ones, so probably about 10 of those are the technicals, and at least 30% of these are art channels. Channels like the Art Sherpa and Lackery Art and Lindsay at the Frugal Crafter. I do count Janet and the musical Scrapper. I count Dee Dee as an art channel, not necessarily as a ColorTuber channel, because so much of what she does is art related outside of coloring. So, when do I usually watch ColorTube? Well, that's a really good question because I have a tendency to get sucked into it when I watch it. So I always try and watch back. I don't really attend an awful lot of live streams unless I have time. So I'll catch usually Dee Dee in a live stream, although I love that she is doing pre-records now, catch-up videos. I will always try and catch Sammy in a live stream because she's so dynamic and so knowledgeable, and I learn so much from her. I will always try and catch Dev and May, and I catch Belinda when I can, but a lot of the other ones I do end up watching back just simply because art is my business and I do have to work at it, in answering emails and doing Etsy maintenance and things like that. So not as much as I would like, but when I usually watch it is if something comes on that I go, ooh, that looks like really interesting. I might stop what I'm doing and watch it. But otherwise, I watch everything back, and it's as time allows. How do I balance ColorTube watching, making videos, and coloring? Well, I sort of answered part of that, balancing the ColorTube watching. Making videos, I don't get a chance to make as many as I would like. I'm down to one live and one video a week, which is, to me, very, very comfortable. So I probably watch more than I make, and I color when I have a chance to color. I mean, just, off camera, just coloring. I'm usually watching Anne. And the reason is because watching Anne is like sitting with a girlfriend and just coloring, You're just sitting at the kitchen table and you're coloring and I'm usually listening to her. I'm usually talking back at the computer screen. There's a bunch of people that I am like that with, and they're more the conversational color tubers as opposed to the tutorial ColorTubers. And so there's that. Is there a difference between the videos you love watching and making? Yes. Well, yes and no. Okay. I love watching tutorial videos. When I invest my time and my attention, I want to be able to learn something too. Now, that isn't to say that I don't learn something just from having conversations with people. I do. So when I go into the color and chats that are not geared toward a tutorial, oftentimes I'm able to read the chat and learn things about the coloring community that I might not otherwise have known. Like how generous some people are, who's positive, who's negative, general kind of what I call general knowledge things, because I am hugely curious and I like to know what's going on. I'm not always able to pay personal attention to what's going on in individual lives, but, for instance, if there are rumblings in the community, if there is somebody in need of good vibes, if I can offer a word of encouragement, that's probably my number one thing. Is I try to, wherever I can, look for any place that I can offer somebody a word of encouragement. If they're having a tough time, if they are afraid of a project or a book or a coloring tool or something like that. So I love the color in chats for that, and then the tutorials. I'm very often gonna select the ones that are pre-records, because then it's like a one-on-one lesson with the person. And a perfect example of that is Zucchini Kitty, because Karen is so respectful of other people's time. So, she shows you how she does what she does to get the effects that she does with the tools that she's using. She might show you that a couple of times, and then she goes off camera and colors in the rest of a repetitive image, and then comes back to show you the next part. And I love videos that are structured that way. And I try and incorporate a little bit of that. I try to incorporate a little bit of what I love about everybody's style into what I'm doing. But then that's how I've always been. I've always been a visual learner. I watch what other people do, and then I adapt it and mold it to my own projects. So I'm not copying them. I'm more like using it as tools or ideas to enhance my own art, my own projects. So, making videos. Is there a difference between the videos you love watching and making? In this instance, no. I love watching videos of high production value, and I love making videos of as high a production value as I am capable of at that time. So I like to, for instance, I love watching Jennifer Stay because the production value of her videos is to me is sort of second to none. She's got a technical husband, and but I love the switching of the cameras and the different angles and the different views, and the content and the um, you know the fact that they built a true thriving business uh, with with building, paying attention to the technical stuff. And I'm a techie. I'm a nerd. I like it. I since they made me use that first computer back at work when they took all of our typewriters away, I mean, I sort of embraced the computer and the technology and all of that. Um, so hopefully that answered that. Who is the most recent person that I subscribe to? Well, it is Able to Rejoice. Um, and I subscribed to her yesterday on because I've seen Joycey in coloring chats forever, or in coloring chats and in Dee Dee's streams, but I didn't know she had a channel, and uh, and so she is sort of part of. I had thought it was sort of a triad, but it turns out that there's actually four of them. There's Dee Dee and Janet and Elaine or Eileen, sorry, and Joycey, and um, and I love it. I also love, and I'd love to give an honorable mention to Mary Attier, who is just so fun. She's just her videos are just so fun. I mean, her work, she is just embodies the fun in art. And I love that. That is, to me, that is the best. If you are coming on and you are having a good time, that is just so uplifting to everybody. Uh, the other one, and I want to say this because I subscribed to her on the same day, is Coloring with Olivia. It's actually Olivier is how it's spelled, but it's Olivia, Olivier, I believe. And oh my goodness, talk about gorgeous backgrounds, creative, out of the box stuff. And she shows you step by step how she does it. She's a marvelous colorist. Love that. Uh, okay. Share a favorite older ColorTuber. People that have been around for a while. Definitely Peter Hewitt. I love Lori at Color My World. Um, I love Chris Chang. Of course, how could you not love Chris Chang? Her work is just gorgeous. Uh, and Pencil Stash. Those are four that I just really, really love for the older ones. A favorite new ColorTuber, that would probably have to be at this particular moment in time, Coloring with Olivia, uh, and but there's so many. There's so many. I mean, what do you call new? I mean, I'm new. But I've been doing this since last September. So Deb is new, but I've been watching him since the first video that he put up. So I guess we define new. I also want to say that the ones that I mentioned are not the only ones that I learned from. Like, for instance, through Anne, I made friends with and was there for May Brox's first live. I had never even heard of Inktense pencils before May Brox, and she showed me how to use them. Zarget Hunter has always taken time to tell me and help me when I've needed it. So if I don't mention them, it isn't. I don't want to. I don't want to think that anybody. I don't want anybody to feel slighted. Okay, favorite new ColorTuber, we just did that. What is a ColorTuber pet peeve? Well, I actually have two. One is things that are out of focus, and the other one is inane conversation. And when I say inane conversation, I mean, just conversation that isn't about either the coloring or uh, or or something about what is going on both in front of you and on the, in the case of a live stream, what's going on the screen, kind of thing. So just and silence. Those two things are sort of things that are quiet and things that are out of focus. And that goes to my love of production value. It doesn't make anybody a better YouTuber than others. I mean, it just, but I try and get as high a production value as I can with my videos without spending any money. And like for instance, I have learned to use my video editing software and my my broadcast software, and I have been able, through the grace of the coloring community, I have been gifted with some marvelous coloring tools, which I am actually trying to learn to use with all of you guys, and um, so I try and put as much of my attention and care into the product that I bring you, and so maybe that is the root of my pet peeve with both of the inane conversation and the out of focus. It's like the question that runs through my mind is, do you not care about the product? What about all the people that are watching you? Don't you care that your videos are out of focus? So that's my pet peeve. And I will not apologize if that upsets some people. Okay. What have I learned from ColorTuber? Well, I've learned to color, for one thing. And I'm learning every single day. I am learning that people color for all kinds of reasons. For pain management, for stress management, for pure pleasure, for joy, for the sake of making beautiful things, for company, for, I've learned so much from all of you about grace, about for those that are living with pain, chronic pain, and the grace that I see in them showing up week after week after week, when you know that it hurts, and that the way that everybody cares about one another, those are the things that I have had maybe been thinking were gone in the world. And my involvement in ColorTuber has restored my knowledge that they're not. So, 11 is tag some ColorTubers. I don't do that. I don't do that. I hope that every ColorTuber who watches this makes a video that talks about what they love about ColorTuber. So I'll just tag everybody who is listening to and has a channel to make a video about what you like and why you like it. And how about we go from there? Okay? So now that I went and got all emotional again, jeez Louise, think I'd learn, don't you? Okay, now, the next thing is I never got a chance to really clarify what we were doing with the 500 subbies giveaway. So, if you are watching this and you don't want to sift through all hour and some odd minutes of the live that got cut off. There it is. What I am doing is I am creating a 5-pack, a 5-picture pack. And it is going to be these 5 drawings. And good Lord, I hope I'm in focus, considering I just went through all that about, you know, the auto or the focus thing. And these are the 5 pictures. These are the 5 that I held back from my last book. I didn't hold them back. What I did is I set them aside because I had another use for them, and I drew 5 different ones for my book, Fabulous Flowers. This one, the black one, the one with the black cover. So this set of 5 drawings will be in, I'll do a PDF pack, and there'll be 5 winners who will win a PDF of all 5 of these pages, and it will arrive to them via a link in Dropbox, and all they have to do is click on it and click on the link and just go download the files. They are exclusive. They're not in my Etsy shop. The only place to get these or to have these is if you bought a copy of Color On magazine this summer. They will be going in the shop after the contest or after the drawing, which will occur next Sunday. So the way that you can enter is either in this video or in the Sunday video from last week, so the one from the 10th. Put in the comment entering and what it is that you like about my channel. And I will assign numbers to all the entrants. Each entrant will get one, number, and then we will use the random number generator to generate 5 winners. And so that will be the 500 subby giveaway. Sorry it can't be cash. I don't have cash. I have art. So I hope that's okay. But that is in my shop. That would be the equivalent of $6.50. So that is the retail value of that prize. But times 5. So anyway. Okay. Now, on to our little guy. Okay, I took a little break and I watched the first part of that just to make sure I hadn't said something that I shouldn't have said. And it ran 28 minutes, so I figured that we could color on this for a little bit, and I will tell you a story. So this video has it all. Games, prizes, and a story. And coloring. And let me bring the camera down and zoom you in. And check my focus. And we'll go for it. I was working on these flowers when we were so rudely interrupted on Sunday. And so I will continue working on those. I am using the Deep Rose, and I was using a bunch of other things, sort of as I was coloring on these first few. That's the fuchsia. What I'm after is the mauve. And, there's the mauve. And then I also was using for a little bit of a highlight. Oh, that's the mauve. That's the thistle. I guess thistle would probably work. The the deep violet. So, whoop, sorry, I guess it would help if I put those where you could actually see what they were. So this is the deep violet, which is 760, and the mauve, which is 740, and the deep rose, which is 710. And so anyway, this particular story is about my days in Reno. And when I first moved to Reno, because remember that I started doing escrow work, which is for you guys in the West or perhaps across the sea in other countries. It's what a real estate attorney does on the East Coast. On the West Coast, we were called escrow officers. And basically, we're just neutral third parties that that make sure that all the terms of a contract are met before we are handed money by the bank and keys by the seller, and we get to trade those between the buyer and the seller. We're the people that does that and makes legal contracts and stuff like that. Prepares the deeds, and so that's what I did for a living. Well, the third company, or actually it was the second company that I worked for in Reno, because I started in Palm Springs, California, was a company called Founders Title. And I can tell you their name because they are now gone from the world. I mean, as they were a division of a company called Old Republic Title, which is still one of the largest title insurance companies in the country. But I worked for a man there. His name was Pat, and he has since left this earth, but at the time he was not an old guy. He was still a fairly young man. And one of the things that he was known for, of course, he was a true expert in the field, and could be counted on in all kinds of crises. He is the one, if you remember, when I told you the story of having to leave work to when my dad was so sick. He's the one that drove me to the airport and arranged to get my car driven home, and just all on like 10 minutes notice. And then he paid me past my vacation days. I don't know how he did it, but he figured out a way to keep me on the payroll even though I was gone for 33 straight days. So I guess it's a long way of saying he was a pretty cool guy. And one of the things that he used to do is when you had worked for him a year, he would take you out to lunch and present you with a coin. And it would be an uncirculated coin celebrating the year that you were. So it would be a brand new uncirculated dollar, silver dollar. And here's mine. I still have it. It is dated 1991. I began working for him in May of 1990. So in May of 1991, we had lunch, and he gave me this beautiful, brand new, uncirculated, fine silver. Not the kind that gets circulated. This is 1 ounce of fine silver, uncirculated Liberty dollar. And it's one of my treasured possessions because it came from Pat. And and he was a great guy. At any rate, so here's the story. Pat was kind of a car guy, and he and I had that in common. I love cars, and he loved cars. And he always drove a a beautiful Mercedes-Benz. It was like I mean, he certainly made really good money, and had a big fancy house on land and all of that. But one day he had a fender bender, and whoops, I'm just trying to move this up so that, because I practically got the book in my lap at this point in time. So I'm just moving the camera up. So one day, and I don't even remember, I guess it was either an accident or something happened. I guess it was an accident. And it must have been a fender bender, because he was without his car. But the problem is that the Mercedes dealership did not have a car that they could lend him. They didn't have another Mercedes. What they had was a Honda. Now, this wasn't just any Honda. Do you remember the Hondas in the late the early 90s that looked for all the world like a pregnant roller skate? Yeah, that's what they gave him. And so he drove that to work one day. And of course, we were all looking at it out in the parking lot and just laughing our little heads off. And so I get a bright idea, and I don't say a word, right? So he was going to have this car for a few days, and he appreciated a good joke. And so the fact that this was the rental car that he had was funny, and even he saw that. So on my way home from work that day, I went by Michael's, and I picked up 2 sheets of the brightest hot. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that the car is turquoise? And not just any color turquoise. I mean like bright turquoise. And so I picked up 2 sheets of poster board in hot pink, the hottest pink that I could possibly find. And I went home and I used an X-Acto knife and I cut two layers of what looked like a giant key shape. And so I built a key, to make it stiff, and I used the extra pieces as a base, and I cut into it and put the poster board in the base of it so that it would stand up, so that it looked like a key. And then as soon as Pat came to work that day, as soon as he'd gone into the office, we snuck out and we attached it with double-sided tape to the top of the car. Oh my God. The whole office was just in an uproar. We all thought it was so funny. And, Pat's going, what is going on? What's going on in here? And we're all like, nothing, boss. Everything's fine. No worries at all. In the meantime, here's this car sitting in the parking lot, blazing turquoise color with this gigantic hot pink key sitting on the top of it like a wind-up toy. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I guess maybe you had to have been there. But So that's my story for the day. And the story of the pregnant roller skate with the key. I got a brand new pair of roller skates, and you got a brand new key. He did actually love it. I mean, he really loved it. Took pictures, you know, and all of that. Well, that could be the problem. I have a pencil that's hiding underneath my book. No wonder I'm having such a difficult time keeping it in the right place. But that was the kind of mischief we used to get up to in the escrow office. Have to do something to break up the, because you know, talk about a stressful job, dealing with the biggest purchase that people are going to make, and you know, it's hard to explain to somebody that no, they can't go out and buy the new refrigerator until after the house is already closed, please, because that changes their financial situation. So anyway, let's see. Oh, I tell you what, guys, I am just so addicted to Curiosity Inc. They posted a new video today, which is part 5, and they've changed it from the name of it from the Hoarder House to the Potter's House, because the lady who owned it, of course, is 102 years old. Apparently her name is Mary, and she is still alive. And so next week he's going to do a documentary style interview with her, and that ought to be very, very interesting. But he did a part 5, and he's still discovering rooms. I mean, even at this point in time, he's been in that house like 5 times, and you know, practically got all of the rooms cleaned out. He discovered a new attic today, or over the weekend, because of course he does it on the weekends. Goes out there with his father-in-law, and so today they did not only did he post part 5 of the house, but he also did a live question and answer session. And so, you know, a couple of weeks ago, he had just hit the 100,000 subscribers mark. He's at like 145,000 as of today. So the channel has really taken off. He's being approached by television channels, you know, things like that. So who knows? He may become a local TV or a television sensation on somebody's channel. But in the meantime, he just is there. You know, like he said, you don't feel famous when you're mucking out the toilet in the office. Or, you know, or throwing away the contents of a refrigerator that's been in a house for 40 years, kind of thing. Okay, so there is the pink flowers, and once those dry, they'll look a little more like this. It's kind of a subtle effect. Let's see if I can. Oh, let's get. Oops. Need to move this back. Go done. I try and keep my camera controls right at hand, but sometimes I can't get to them as well. It's a little hard to see the color gradation, but the pink flowing into the purple is really kind of nice. And then like on this one, I added just a little bit of a different purple, and I'll go back and do that when these are a little more dry, just to give them some visual interest. And you know, as with all my coloring, this has got a ways to go. I'll, be tweaking. What I do usually, and this is how I sort of balance coloring with drawing and YouTubing and all the other stuff that I do, is I've usually got a project sitting out on my desk, and I am one of those that likes to work a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit over there. I'll be working on an edit for like I'll be editing this video while I'm occasionally throwing in a leaf. Whenever my hands need a little break, I'll go to doing that, or if I'm thinking about a drawing and I'm trying to think of what the next element in the drawing is going to be, I'll do a little bit of coloring. And so there's always something sitting out on my desk. There's always a message or, something that I need to answer. Excuse me. And that, by the way, was just a little light olive, which is the 1540. Okay, now, in the background, I am going to be doing, this is going to be the moon, and, oops, that is going to be the moon, and I'm going to do a night sky, and then, of course, they're sitting on a bridge, and this is going to be representative of water, and I'm thinking that the water is flowing down in this direction, so it's going to be flowing, it'll be blue, and then I want the moonlight to be reflecting on it, like here, and so I need to figure out exactly how I want to do that, and I also want to look at some stone walls, some pictures of stone walls before I color that part. So I think I'm going to stick with the flowers for today, but I've showed you those, and I think that we should do some of these next. Now, keeping in mind that they are outside of the scene, but I want them to be pretty. I'm thinking maybe blues and purples, maybe blues on the inside and purple around the outside. I think that would be pretty. See, now, considering that I, told you the last video that I like reds and oranges, here I am with the blues and purples again, so, but in this case, I like them. We're going to go with violet. So I'll go with violet around the outside. And the violet, by the way, is the 800. And zoom me back in. Go. And I'm just sort of sticking with it around the outside edges. And then, let's go with the swatch book here and see if we can figure out a blue that'll go with the violet. So I chose regular violet, so that is that really dark purple. And so I'm thinking iris blue. I'm thinking iris blue might be a pretty choice. We can try that. It's the lightest of the blues and see if it works. That's the 900. So iris blue is number 900. So it is this one. And the worst thing that can happen is we won't like it and we'll have to change it to a different color. But we already know that you can do that with Inktense. And if you can't do it with the Inktense, you can do it with your Prismacolors. Because the Prismas will work really, really well over the Inktense. And if worse came to worse, you could always just paint it out with some acrylic paint like Dee Dee does and go over it with. Now in this case I am going to, because I want to pull the, oh, I have a cat here. I want to pull the purple down first. And then pull the blue into it. I always end up going with more than one layer on these anyway, so I'll do the uncolored part first. And feel free, by the way, in addition to putting comments in about the entering for the giveaway, feel free to put comments in about anything you'd like, about, what I'm doing, what's, anything that you would like me to do in a video, or, a coloring supply that you would like to see, that that I have. A page that you'd like to see me color, anything, an artist that you want me to know about, and because at the end of the month, again, the last Sunday of the month, which in this particular case I believe is Sunday the 24th, I will be featuring a guest artist, i.e. somebody other than myself, and coloring a page from one of their books. The last time, in January, we did Rob Roscom. This time, I am thinking that I might do a page from one of Rose Rambo's books. Her books tend to be gemstones. They're beautifully simple designs that you can then put just absolutely stunning gemstones in. And let me give you a sort of preview of what I mean. Because I can. These are two original pieces that I bought from Rose. They were actually, they are originals, and she was having a bit of a sale of her originals, and this is my absolute favorite. This is Inktense, and it is amazing, and she also did this one with pencils, and that is all colored pencil, and it is simply stunning. her gemstone work is just absolutely fabulous. But her books, I have one down here. What did I do with it? Because the other artist that I could color from is Christina McAllister, or I could, I could do a picture from Dragon Life, the Nathaniel Wake book. Here's Rose's books, one of Rose's books. Now, her books are called Color of Creation. It's a line. And so, as you can see, they are filled with beautifully simple designs that you could make into stunning gemstones. And this is another one of her prints. She did this with colored pencils as well. Now this one is a glossy printed print, not an original like the ones that I have, the other ones that I have. But these are more like workbooks. And she recently did a golden yellow, fuchsia, and indigo gem tutorial using this. This is actually a reflection of a drawing that she did. It's this part here, and it was absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorites right here. Imagine that with all these beautiful gemstones colored into it. And this is the one that I have that I just showed you. So, anybody that you would like to see me color, that is, the only criteria for this is that they need to be an independent artist, i.e., not one that has a big publishing house with a big, the where the publisher sells their books at bookstores, that kind of thing. So, but I'm open. I'm really open. I like to share other artists. I like to tell you about people that you might not know. Independent artists, that kind of thing. So just let me know in the comments. And I am happy to color from them, if I have it. I could color, Tatiana Bogima, her books all qualify, because she also is a self-published artist. And as is Jason Hamilton and Terry. Terry, y'all know her. She does the goth stuff, or not goth, but the dark stuff. I want to say she's either from Ireland or from Scotland. Terry. I know your last name. It might drive me crazy. But she and I were in the Treasury books together. Terry. There's her picture. There they are. Terry Sherman. Ooh. Terry Sherman. Love Terry Sherman's books or art. So, and, or I could color something from the Treasury books. Just needs to be something that I actually have. But I did get to trade in my survey points for another $10 credit toward my Amazon account, so I can buy a book. I have to wait usually for it to get to $25 so I can get free shipping. But on some stuff, Amazon was doing free shipping regardless. I looked at something today. Oh, I have been informed by after 20 years of living in this house, they've decided that my mailbox needs to be repaired. So I need a new functioning box. Well, it functions just fine. Nothing has changed about it in 20 years. The top is frozen open. And it's been frozen open for 20 years. So what I'm going to do is take it off the wall and see if I can figure out why it's frozen, why it's stuck open. And I always tell when there's a new postal carrier in the neighborhood. Either you start getting weird notices like that, or they are delivering mail to the wrong house, or all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so you've pretty much seen that. I will continue to color this one on camera in yet another video. I am going to go ahead and end this one here, though, and the reason is because I don't like to have my videos run much longer than an hour, the pre-recordeds, and this one has now kind of done everything that I needed it to do, showing you a couple of things that I would have finished up hopefully on Sunday had we not been interrupted. And until we meet again, I do encourage you to look in the links below. Please visit my Etsy shop. You can, of course, buy individual pages. You can buy entire books. I try to keep my prices reasonable, and everything is available there in PDF format. Print books are also available worldwide through Amazon, through Book Depository, and through most major online outlets. I've got a playlist that has walkthrough videos of every book that I have ever done, all 9 of them, as well as my friend Sue Curry, who also I could color from. I could color something from Sue Curry. And I look forward to your comments below. Until we meet again, please color something pretty. Thanks for coming, or thanks for watching.